video, you can go to befree.tv. This is where I am sharing my screen. This is something that we are pretty pumped about. Every time someone purchases this track, it's going to be donated to the March Children's Home, and if you guys have been to Acapulco, you know exactly what that's all about. So it's for a good cause, and it's a great song. I'm stoked to be a part of it. So once again, if you want to check out this premiere, go to befree.tv or just find my YouTube channel, BLUVNBU, and it's about to pop off in like 10 seconds.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, now! We had such a moving time. We made friends and healed our minds. Got together feeling fine. Now another place and time. Coast to coast it rings so true. As the world unfolds with you. Vigilantes we all rise. Chase your freedom to the sky. Sharing wisdom from the wise of all the kings and seas we do. There is one thing we don't do. We'll never be stuck in we tied. Sovereignty and place to be. Place for me.
guys, that track goes out to the March Children's Foundation. We're trying to raise 100 grand to help these kids in need. Let's do our part. But to kick things off today, let's dive into the charts. If you guys want to check this out, BeFree.tv is where you can find all of the above. I do recommend that you see these charts, as that makes the experience a lot better for sure. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. As just yesterday, it was at an all-time low of 8. I mean, this looks so funny just here on the screen. I mean, this a single digit. It's pretty uncommon, but if you click max and you kind of see where we've been, last time we were anywhere close to here was this was August 19th, 2019. So this wasn't even the COVID crash. This was before that, and we were at a 5. So, you know, being at an 8 is pretty low. Anytime there's extreme fear like this in the market, it presents ultimate buying opportunities, ultimate opportunity to start dollar cost averaging in and increasing your pirate chain stack. Now we head over to the crypto or CoinGecko.com. We check out this the index here, the market cap. We can see that UST Terra has been pretty much extinguished from the top 10. Wasn't the case a few weeks ago. But yeah, today was a bit of a turbulent day in the market, so we'll get into in the charts. It has everything to do with the Dow Jones. We're going to check out Pirate Chain, see where we're at. I'm actually pretty impressed to see that Pirate Chain is number 206 out of 13,422 cryptocurrencies and tokens. That's awesome. I mean, if you're in top 100, there is something to be said for the utility value and legitimacy of any project, but top 200 is pretty damn good, if you ask me. And we're in it. So this is great. Pirate Chain holding around 87 cents at the time of recording. It's been kind of hanging out here for the last week. And I'm actually really surprised about that. It hasn't even budged to hit $1, you know, surprisingly, and it's actually held up that value in that price range. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to have to dig into more charts and get a bigger picture of the whole story. But basically, if you were to close your eyes and purchase Pirate Chain today, you would not be disappointed 3 to 5 years from now. That's for damn sure. Could we have lower prices? Yes. Is that guaranteed? No. So let's go ahead and dive into some charts and see what we're looking at here. Okay. So let's start with Bitcoin here. I got Bitcoin on the 3-hour chart. You know, if you ever wonder why the price is so volatile, a chart like this really, it shows it like clear as day, because you can see there is this Fibonacci, this trend line here that once we broke through that on May 9th, it's just been this tug of war of like being stuck under it, falling way below it, coming up, hitting resistance, coming back down, going back up above, but not getting quite through, finding support again. So it's just this bouncing, you know, stuck in this range around this line. And it's incredible how price action just sticks to these mathematical lines that are in place here, and we're still on it. Even after this little crash today, we found support on it. You know, what does that mean? We could push back up, but, you know, not so fast there. We've still got some downside targets, and if this is in fact the bear market that we're in, we probably haven't seen nothing yet. So moving on, we've got Bitcoin on a 2-hour. This is the perpetual mixed contract, so futures trading, things like that, but also fairly accurate. And there are 2 points of resistance here that are kind of like the line in the sand for me in terms of like, okay, are we going to recover from this capitulation? And that is this trend line here where we first capitulated from back on the 9th, and that price currently resides around 29,392, and we're currently under that by like almost 500 bucks. Okay, so if we don't get above that, that is almost guaranteed for more downside. But if we do get above it, there is another trend line here at around 31,168. That is, it's going to be some pretty tight resistance to get above, and above that is, you know, maybe 32,550 at the most. So overall, I wouldn't be too eager about a recovery here, although I wouldn't rule it out. There's one thing I've learned: it's to not bet against Bitcoin. It's to not bet against the market. It tends to do the most irrational things at the most unexpected times. So, you know, if there's a lesson here, it's to really just be open, not too open, but realize that there's some blind spots, and by just being prepared for any scenario, you can you know, set yourself up to win, basically. And it depends what you're trying to do. Are you trying to day trade and just make a few bucks here and there, or are you just looking for the best opportunity to buy in? You know, because you're working with limited capital and you want to enter at the right time. That to me is probably the wisest thing to try and do. Trying to catch the bottoms and sell the tops of every market cycle is next to impossible. But if you can get as close as you can, and confidently buy in, then you're going to be way better off as prices moving up, and you'll have peace of mind. So those are the two resistance areas to watch. You know, 32.5K is, to me, is a line in the sand where, okay, if we get above that and start holding support, then maybe that was it for the capitulation. But we're going to dig into some more charts as to why that might not be the case. This M1 chart it's powerful. It's basically, you know, predicted every possible target to the tick. As you can see, this wick here on May 12th, where we had the big drop down to 25,393. This line here on my chart was literally like 20 bucks short of it. So you could have literally said, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin at that price, 25,000, you know, 350, and you would have caught that wick and woken up that morning almost $4,000 above the price of Bitcoin, and, you know, in profit. So, I mean, in my opinion, the odds of catching that in real time are almost impossible. So it's important to have these downside targets and to just set your limit orders so that you kind of catch the price when it hits that, because it doesn't last long. If there's a lot of support and it's a lower price and there's a lot of buying interest, then it's not going to last long. I mean, you're probably not going to catch it in the moment, but that did happen. And hey, ever since we wicked all the way back up, we've, you know, been holding support on this. This is what I would effectively call the line in the sand for a trap door on the price, and that is around $28,742. That there, if you were to like really look back and at this whole bull market cycle, the price has only ever come down to just that ever since January 3rd of 2021. Okay, so that's a long time for price to stay above and not go below. And for a second there, we were under it, which is a pretty awesome buying opportunity. As you can see, we've held this line of support for almost a week now, and we just tested it again today. But what I want you guys to make note of is this blue trend line. Now, trend lines aren't Fibonacci lines. It's nothing that an algo or a setting in like TradingView or Coinigy or whatever you're using can really establish. This is more of the man-made element to trading, where for some reason price still respects it. So you can just draw a trend line from basically right before we capitulated. This was when I exited all my trades, and I posted it publicly, and I told everyone, I said, this is not good. We're not going to get above this. And sure as shit, we dropped from like 40K to 25K within a week. But you can see this trend line from the point we dropped all the way down to today. We're still under it. Still under it. So until we can get some price action closing, like a candle body close above this trend line, and hold it as support, we are not out of the woods here, and we have downside targets all the way down to 22K. And if you ask me, I think 22K is a very reasonable place for Bitcoin to go here in the next couple weeks. Why is that? It happens to line up directly with the 200 weekly moving average, which historically is where price always finds support to verify that the bear market, that's the bottom, that we found support, and we're going to start working our way up from there. So would I be going all in right now? I certainly wouldn't recommend it. It's just my opinion. I think there could be lower prices ahead. Even if Bitcoin does go down to 22K, I don't think it's going to take Pirate Chain that much lower as we've seen. I mean, when we went down to 25K and all this craziness here in the last week, the lowest I saw Pirate Chain was like 69 cents, which is an incredible opportunity. Congrats if you bought Pirate Chain at that price, because we haven't even come close to it since then. But if we make it down to 22K, I mean, what's a realistic price for Pirate Chain to go? I don't have that chart pulled up. I probably should, but if I had to guess, it would be close to 69 cents yet again, maybe a little bit lower or maybe a little bit above. So that is now your target for a retest of support, is to look for a price like that. And basically, a good move is to start averaging in between now and then. Let's see. Yep. So that's the one-day chart. Moving on. You don't need to see a 2-hour chart. Okay, so I got the DXY up here, the dollar index. This is the relative strength of the dollar against all world currencies. And you can see that we are, we just went parabolic and basically topped out here at this decade-long, what is now resistance on the chart. And this is our first weekly close in in almost 8 weeks with a red candle. So you can tell that the dollar is starting to find some resistance. This could be a point where the dollar turns around. And if that happens, well, the dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes up. And so does Pirate Chain and all of the altcoins. So something you want to keep on your radar is the DXY. See what this is doing. Keep an eye on this for the next week. If we close red, doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but it means that there could be more dollars flowing into risk on assets. Here's another dollar chart here on a 2-hour. And you can see we came down and found support. Broke below this EMA ribbon, but we found support and we blasted up through the EMA ribbon. So this is going to serve as support tomorrow when the indices open back up. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's still up in the air, but the dollar could continue to push up from here. And what better to look at than the Dow Jones? And the past week, I've really been, playing with some trades and experimenting with how correlated these markets are, and it just blows my mind. From the time of 9:30 a.m. till 4:30, when the indices open up, I mean, it's ballistic. Like, basically, you can see the DXY going up as the Dow goes down, and vice versa. So they're extremely correlated, and Bitcoin, same thing. Like, I basically, you've got your crypto targets, but like for me, I don't really feel too confident on any trade unless I know what the Dow Jones is doing. And let me zoom out on this chart here, because this is important for everyone to see. We got rejected. All right, here I was bullish to enter a trade on May 12th, because these two lines here looks like a pirate crossbones. That's really strong support, and I knew we'd get a bounce. And sure as shit, we bounced all the way up through the past week, and we found resistance here on this yellow fib circle. I'm going to kind of zoom out so you can see how important this is. Right, this was support for a long time. We got rejected by this top yellow fib, and now, I mean, we're like 3 rings down, and the next ring is holy smokes, damn, that's a drop, and it's totally possible. for this to happen with the Dow Jones. It's totally possible. So, my guess is that tomorrow, when the indices open back up, we're gonna have to come up and now fight what was once support. We're gonna have to fight these crossbones here, and I'm not too confident we're gonna get above that. Okay, so that would mean further downward price action for the entire crypto market, especially if we drop down to this pivot ring here of, at least 30,376 on the Dow Jones. So definitely keep an eye on that. Of course, the S&P is no different. It got rejected here by this fib line, and it's finding support. It actually looks a little stronger than the Dow Jones, but it doesn't matter. If it's going down, then the S&P is taking it with it. Yeah, just a lot of mixed signals out there right now in the market, because a lot of these altcoins and even like the euro, even the Dow, like a lot of these markets are at pretty much like they're below like these support levels before you would see a retracement, meaning like a big pump back up before it finally capitulates. So I don't know. I learned something new a couple days ago that really the biggest thing to keep an eye on in the markets is the debt. I got to find some charts that can show us that, but it's like bond yields, yield curve. It's looking at debt and seeing how dollars are flowing in and out of paying off this debt that's obviously never going to get paid off. That's why they're pumping out a great reset plan, because there's no solution. There's really no solution, and if whatever solution there is to like cut costs and try to pay off debt is like, it's just not going to happen from the powers that be. They need to finance their agendas, and they can't do that without printing more money. So this whole thing is just a house of cards waiting to crash anyway. But in terms of like entering trades and seeing where the market goes, looking at debt and the bonds and yield curves and things like that, there's some charts I want to start getting into to show you guys, because I think we all would have a lot to learn from that, and obviously the benefit, because we can be ahead of the game and on top of things. There's that. The other thing, I kind of started talking about this, but a couple days ago I had this idea. I was like, this whole UST Terra, crash situation. I came on this call last week and I spoke about it, and I kind of just dismissed it as like, oh, well, that project's done. And it probably is. Like, let's be real. Who's going to want to actually put their money in that and trust it from now on? Good luck. But in doing so, I missed a huge opportunity. We all kind of did, by being that dismissive and skeptical of this destruction, this terrible destruction that happened on this project. And that was affirmed to me that day when Jeff Berwick put out his walk and talk and said that he made well over $1 million from maybe less than a $10,000 investment, because he was literally buying millions of Terra for, not even pennies. Like, it was, he's a poker guy. He's a gambler, so he's got the mind for it, and he's got the cash to just throw at something like that. So obviously, I can see why that's more of a blind spot for someone like me, but it occurred to me that day that, like, maybe there's opportunity, because if a project completely hits the floor on the price, like, well, what if you bought it when it was like dead low? Like, there's probably still going to be some bounce or like opportunity to make money with it, and it's risky, but it worked, and he did it, and I was like so like impressed. I was like, that takes balls, and way to go, man! Like, awesome. And the point I'm trying to make here is that we're still in the infancy of this asset class. Do you think that's going to be the last time something like that happens? Hell no. We're going to see hundreds, if not thousands, of these cryptos go to zero, basically. So the opportunity to do what Jeff did is it's going to happen again. And you bet your ass when it does, I'm not going to be dismissing a project that's dead. And it's not like I wasn't trying to learn from it, but I certainly wasn't trying to make money from it, which would have been pretty opportunistic, and honestly would have solved all my problems for the rest of my life if I'd have done what he did. So yeah, just want to put that on your guys' radar. It's a pretty crazy phenomenon, and it's going to happen again. So we can learn from it, and it's best to not turn the cheek sometimes, and to be more open to possibility. So we never know how life changing that could be. So a lot of people got wrecked, but some people, turned that upside down, and they maybe weren't even involved, and they had unbelievable results. So, yeah, that's about it for my market update today, you guys. So we just premiered the drum cover video. That was a cool idea we had. And what'd you think of it, man?
Yeah, really good, man. I thought you did a great job. Rocked it out and gave it everything. And that's what we try to do. The idea was to maybe get even more people involved in that kind of thing, just people doing covers, just because it just gets it out there, what they're trying to do with the music, with the song. The song was obviously about Acapulco, but, the March Children's Home, which is close to Jeff's heart, and obviously through that it's become close to many of our hearts, because we can see what an Acapulco is trying to do to help something that's basically literally over the road from the festival. They ran out of food last year, and so when I wrote the song, I contacted Jeff and I just said, well, why don't we release it in the summer, and try and raise some money, obviously through your channel. You've got a lot of followers we can make, and I said, I thought the other day, I thought, why don't we have a target? And it sounds crazy, but I think $100,000 is possible with all the people that Jeff's kind of made millionaires.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a great thing, man. I definitely know what you're talking about, being at Acapulco and seeing all those kids come up and the whole production they did at the end. And we still have a couple of those cards on our refrigerator that they made, the ones they drew and with a nice message. So yeah, it's a real cause. It's a good cause, and it's a great song. I mean, everyone I've showed the song to, like, damn, that's like a commercial. What did you say?
Yeah, it sounded like it's very catchy. Remember, I don't know if you're too young to remember this song, "I Love LA" by Huey Lewis in the 80s. It's like one of those, it gets stuck in your head because it's about something, and it's almost like a commercial, but it's like a full song, not just like a jingle. So it's really good, Rob. I liked it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, came together really well. I was at the festival the one day and I was having lunch, and obviously I've done Pirate Train, and the guy was saying to me, are you going to do another song about crypto? And I said, maybe in the future, but right now I'm here experiencing the festival and I'm really having a great time and meeting all these cool people. The vibe here is amazing, beautiful surroundings. I said, I think, based on you usually write songs about your experiences, I said to him, I think I'm going to write a song about this festival. And that afternoon I went back for a siesta, lay down on my bed, and the chorus just came into my head, boom, and I was like, that's interesting, and I kind of discarded it at first. I thought, that's the first idea, maybe there'll be something else that comes along with it. Then, I replayed it in my head, and I just thought, no, that's it, man, that's the chorus, and I just got to write the verses, and came together really quickly. And I sent a smartphone recording version to Jeff, and he said, well, bear in mind, it's a shitty smartphone recording verse, and it's hard to maybe impress somebody with something like that. This is the version that I released now, which is the studio version, but he heard the potential in it, and he said, get it recorded, and let's crack on with it, and let's do something positive with it. So that was really cool of Jeff.
Yeah, very nice, man. And so you did the guitar on that. You wrote the song. You sang. Did you hire a drummer or a bass player, or did you do it all?
So with my songs, generally I do everything apart from the drums, because unlike you, I cannot play the drums, but I can play the bass. I can bumble my way enough to put a bass line on a track, and obviously I've been playing guitar for 33 years now, so I can definitely do that, and singing, yeah. So it's basically everything apart from the drums, and there's a little female backing vocal on there as well.
Oh, great. Oh, very nice, man. So
great fun.
I guess this is a good opportunity to tell us more about yourself. Like, where are you from, and whereabouts are you now?
Yeah, so I'm from England originally, but I left England. I just had this real desire to travel a couple of years ago, just before COVID kicked off.
Oh man, nice timing.
Yeah, it was like now I look back and I think there was a little angel sitting on my shoulder saying, "Get the fuck out of here." I was in Vietnam, and then you started hearing the first rumblings. I'd only been there about a month, but you heard like the COVID thing started, and so I was in Vietnam for about 10 months. But it started getting a bit weird. They were talking about closing the borders. And I always wanted to come to Mexico, and been watching Jeff stuff, and he was raving about it, and so it seemed like a no-brainer. So I got here, what was it, October 2020.
Damn.
And as soon as I got here, I'd been here about a week, and in Puerto Vallarta, picked up my acoustic guitar, buzzing from the fact that I was in this great country that I always wanted to come to, and started strumming a few chords and just banging like Mexico, Mexico, and that became my song Mexico, which I put out in September of last year, and I sent it to Jeff, and he really liked it. And that was kind of like my in with him, like he invited me to 4 or 5 of his parties in his house in Acapulco and in one of the places, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
I bet.
I can imagine after being in Acapulco.
Well, it's just all of it. Yeah.
I rolled into one, and I did the Pirate Train song after that. That seemed like a logical sort of thing to do, and I'm really loving it. I'm in Morelia at the moment. I've been traveling all over Mexico, just wanting to see, all the different places, and just see the country. And it's a nice little chapter in my life.
That's awesome. We miss it. We miss being there so much. It's so awesome.
The thing is, I played the song to some of the guys that I met, like here at the festival, and they're like going, "Yeah, you've really captured the spirit of the festival," and that's like, well, that's what I wanted to do.
Oh man, perfect. And I think it's great for the audience here to get familiar with you and your work and your music, because you're also, like myself, very pro Pirate Chain, and you've got songs about it. I mean, like Pirate Train is totally about Pirate Chain, you guys, and if you haven't heard it, you got to check it out. But can you tell us more about like your involvement with Pirate Chain? Like, how do you, are you just an investor in it? Like, you're familiar with the technology, you're using it, like, where do you want to see it go? All of that.
Well, for me, it was just hearing Jeff rave on about it, probably before it went crazy last year a little bit, and I started investing in it, but only like small, because traveling as a musician, I'm not like making a lot of money, so I invested small, and only like a couple of $100. I think I put in when it had that big spike, I went up to about $800. But it came back down again, of course. But I was thinking, just leave it in, and hopefully it just keeps going up. Like many people probably did. But no, I love the project and the whole thing of the pirate thing, and it was just, if you're going to write a song about a crypto, that's going to be one of the top ones because of that whole fun aspect of it. So yeah, I really think it's a great project with the whole privacy thing and meeting people at the festival like Lutz and stuff like that. You can just hear him demonstrating with some of the people that were on the stage, and he was picking them apart when they were talking about different aspects of privacy and that, and he really knows what he's talking about. So I need to learn. I'm still learning like a lot of people. I want to learn more and more about the whole thing, and crypto itself and privacy, and even in my own life, you know, the whole thing like with de-googling your phone and stuff. I haven't quite got around to that, but yeah, I guess I should go a bit more. But I'll be concentrating on songwriting.
We all need to do that, honestly.
Yeah, this is how you make it happen. Is your environment, you know, proactively adding these players, you know, who are willing to make those changes and learn about it and grow together and help each other out.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely, in the replay of this call, we'll have our team go ahead and add Pirate Train too, like a link to the YouTube video. And if you guys haven't heard it, you have to check that out as well. We'll have the drum cover linked up there too.
For those out there, oh, sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, like, Pirate Train's completely different from an Acapulco, the place to be. It's a completely fun song. If you watch the music video, I'm walking along the beach in Acapulco with Jeff Berwick on somewhere called Sinfonia del Mar. Two gorgeous senoritas, and it's just like, it's a fun song, and you know, it's just like, let's have some fun, but also, obviously, hopefully the undertone of kind of like seriousness about privacy comes across as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. We did have a couple guests here raise their hands. They might have a few questions for you, Rob. Let's bring them on. Hey, I've got Hopper and Rand Pierce. Who's with us?
I don't know if you can even hear me.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's Hopper. Hey, brother.
You're doing great, Hopper. Hey, bro. How you doing? I'm sorry. I have to apologize. I just got in, and because I looked at the clock and I was like, "Oh my God, the time flew." And I missed the last couple weeks because I was working. But anyways, I've had some problems with crypto, and I'm still going through it, trying to resolve some stuff. But anyways, I was wondering at the gatherings that you guys are going to be having, like say Pork Fest, for example, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
We can have like a type of a class, like to teach people how to get their Bitcoin or whatever, and then get into what, you know, decentralized, because I use decentralized exchange, and I've been fighting with them for like 3 weeks, and they like told me, "Oh, you can't access it until the 17th." And I'm like, "It's paid for. I paid for it." And then they charged me all these fees. I ended up losing like a quarter of it, and I still haven't even been able to send it to my wallet.
Oh man. That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Hopper. Well, we should have like some classes to help, you know, with the operational security and getting the wallets set up, and any, you know, more specific situations like you're going through. We can try to work through it. You know.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people need to know this, you know. It's like, because decentralized exchanges, and unfortunately I was using it because it was on my phone, but my phone is on its way out, even though it's an old Apple or whatever. I can't, it's when you met me, I was having problems with it. I kind of fixed it, and it's just been acting up again, but luckily it's working right now. I can't install certain things. I need to get a new phone, but anyhow, I would love to go through all the basics of how to go and get everything without KYC and being able to transfer things, because like it's turned into a real nightmare.
Yeah, it can be that way. I mean, this is Web 3.0. This is new technology. If the internet and tech wasn't hard enough as it was, I mean, it certainly hasn't gotten easier. You know, and these are where the big wins happen too, when you're going through these troubles and these technical issues. Because by the time it's easy and our grandmas can do it, the opportunity's already gone. We're already too late. So it's worth hashing out these troubles. It's not always easy to get the answers and support, but you came to the right place, and thank you for sharing that. And are you definitely going to be at Pork Fest? Because Pirate's going to be there.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be at Pork Fest. Unfortunately, the girl who basically owns our campsite isn't sure she's going to make it. She wants to put either, me and Aaron, who I know Lutz met. I don't know about you. Yeah, you must remember Aaron. He hung around with us for a bit, and we said our goodbyes too.
Okay.
We're in the same. We're going to be running our spot, so there might be an extra camping spot in our spot if needed. But
awesome, man.
We'll see how it goes. You know what's happening right now.
Everything's good. What I wanted to say, and I meant to do this last week, I'm up in Canada, up in Toronto, and I've been meaning to do this for a long time, but I want to announce a Toronto pirate meetup. We haven't been able to, for all those people that are jabbed or unjabbed that weren't able to travel or even get on the subway here in Toronto.
Okay. This is a live in-person meetup?
Yeah. Probably the third, actually, I guess it's the fourth week in June, either the Friday or Saturday. When I got a place now that's committed to it. It's just a matter of whether it's Friday or Saturday. I want to have a little Toronto pirate meetup. Small little place, might hold 20. Right, it's not crazy. But for any Canucks or Torontonians that want to kind of hang out for maybe 3-4 hours, whatever. Maybe get drunk, hang out, do whatever, find some swag or whatnot, right? And just talk, pirate and whatever else crypto you want, but essentially kind of into that privacy mode. I'm doing it, and it's I got a place. Just gonna nail down a day within a couple of days, and then I'll actually make it live.
Oh, that's great, man. It's get a nice flyer or graphic or something, and we can help spread the word.
Yeah, no problem with the graphics. None of that stuff. It's just a matter of finally it's opening up here, right? And so I wanted to do that. And all the all the kids on the Armada, I'm gonna buy some swag and hopefully it could be here in a month or so, right? And we'll hand it out. But it's just a matter of just to hang out with a bunch of local kids, right, who are kind of into pirate. So that's the goal. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Wow. All right. Thanks for letting us know, man. That's fantastic.
My question is do you have to be jabbed to get into Canada from the U.S.?
If you want to fly in on a plane, yes. But if you want to fly into Buffalo and drive across, no.
So if you drive across, you don't have to. Because you have on the border state.
Yeah, you might have to take a test that says you're you don't have it. You don't have COVID. But yeah, right now I can't even fly to another province in my country without having a jab.
Yeah,
not just one jab, like all three.
Like all of them.
It's absurd. We're the last country in the I'll say G20, but I'll say at least G7, that is still doing this. Right? Like literally, I can drive across the country. As anyone driving across the States knows, it's a long fucking way. Excuse my French, right? So,
yeah.
So the point of the call, so everyone can hear, were the kids. So we did get a chance to see those kids. They are adorable, most well-mannered children ever. Like you don't even see those types of children here in the United States. They were so cute. And the lady who's looking after them, she looks after all of them. Like, how many kids would you say there were? Like 50?
Yeah.
60?
Oh, yeah.
And she looks after these kids like they're her own. So it is really, really, really important that we give to a cause where we actually know where the money is going versus a lot of the charities that get like 1 or 2% of the donations. We actually have seen these kids in person and we have seen the staff, and it is a real legit organization, and they do deserve to have the best because they really were very sweet children.
Yeah, and that's all we have to do, I think, is just purchase the song that Rob put out, in Acapulco, Place to Be, and then I did a drum cover for it. We premiered that at the start of this call. So even though you guys, I'm sorry you couldn't hear like in the moment, the recording of this call, you'll be able to hear everything Rob said. You'll be able to hear the drum cover and everything we talked about. And just want to give a shout out to Acorn Labs for that's Lutz's channel here, his podcast that he started. He's got a team of us pumping out these weekly shows. We're here every week except the first Wednesday of the month. That's the monthly Pirate Chain Meetup. So shout out to Acorn Labs, Lutz. Shout out, thanks, brother. And you can find Acorn Labs on Twitter or YouTube. And there is a Telegram channel with all these replays. So that's where you guys can find the replay of this. Yeah, and we still got like 5 minutes left. So yeah.
Any final words, Rob?
All right.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be off to actually record. I'm going back to Bonfield to record a music video. So that it's all like an official music video with Max Egan's going to be in it, all being well, and playing air guitar.
Oh, nice.
Play some air guitar with the kids at the children. So I'm hoping to get on the roof with a drone shot and, with all these ideas for the music video.
I want to thank you for tuning in here today. Thank you, Rob, for being our special guest and our co-host, Vivian.
Thank you. Can I
ask one more question?
Yeah, okay, good. So, Rob, you go ahead, and then Hopper, I'll have you ask the question.
So when my song Pirate Train come out on February 1st, as you said earlier in your report, Pirate Train was at 69 cents. It went up to about $2.30. So if you'd have bought some when my song came out, made a nice little bag for yourself.
Hey, not bad. All right, well, the next song release, we're going to have to time it, so we stack our pirate beforehand. Okay, and Hopper, you had one more question, man?
Yeah, is there any problems with Tradeogre right now?
No problems that I could see. I'm pretty well familiar with it. It's a good question because I know they just added USDT pairings for almost everything that I could see. And Monero has it, Pirate Chain. So that allows you to basically, instead of only having to trade Bitcoin for Pirate Chain, now you can trade Tether for Pirate Chain. I can't guarantee that's from an OPSEC standpoint, that's a better idea because both are probably transparent surveillance coins, but at least you have flexibility to, if you're trying to exit a trade and get into a stable coin, you've got that option. But other than that, Tradeogre, if something's going on with that, trust me, man, you'll know because there's a lot of people that is what they use to get their Pirate Chain.
Okay, great. Sounds awesome.
Cool, man. And looking forward to seeing you at PorkFest. We'll be there. And just want to give one last shout out. The Crypto Vigilante YouTube put out a video, which basically, Benny went and did a voiceover of the entire report that they did on Pirate Chain. And it's incredible. Like, that is something that you should send to anyone that's serious about wanting to get into crypto, wanting to learn about Pirate Chain, etc. So you can check that out on the Crypto Vigilante YouTube. We'll also have the link here. All right, brother. Well, we're going to wrap this call up. Thank you for all your questions and input, Hopper. It's been more of an interactive show, which it's nice to bring that back. I know Lutz is a fan of us doing that. So, thanks again, Rob, for coming out.
If you guys need help with PorkFest again, count me in, or anywhere else, just to let you know.
Awesome, man. I'm just happy to see you, but I'll send you a message and we'll see. There's always work to be done, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm always up for it.
Yeah, man.
Especially the technical stuff,
You know it.
What I do. What I'm doing, anyways.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
All right. It's good to see you. Thanks, everybody. I love all you pirates.
I love you too, brother.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, man.
Have a good night.
Thank you guys for coming on. We'll see you next week at 6:30 p.m.
Yo, yo.
Arr.